The 12-hour rule after cheating. Everyone has bad days, but when I have a day like this, it seems like it lasts forever. I was sitting on the side of the road with a flat right rear tire, and when I opened the car, I discovered that the spare tire was also flat. I picked up my cell phone to call AAA for roadside assistance and found that I was in a dead spot and couldn't connect to anything. That left me with two options: go up the road or go down. There was no choice. My destination was 1.5 miles away, located at the top of a hill, and going the other way would be a 5-mile walk to get to the phone. I grabbed my bag and headed to Charlie's. As I walked up the hill, I thought for the 20th time that I didn't want to be there at all. I'd rather be in my own house, alone with my wife, than sharing her with 30 or 40 other people, especially since she'd been gone for almost a week. Arrington, Arry for short, was the executive assistant to Charles Wellington Burns, president, CEO, chairman of the board, and major shareholder of one of the Midwest's largest corporations. Ari's job meant she went wherever Charlie went, which was everywhere and often. This didn't make me very happy, as I would rather have her at home with me. But Ari made it clear when I made her an offer that if she accepted, she would keep her job. She told me that I should understand that this condition was non-negotiable and that she would not entertain any motions to reconsider after we were married. Her straightforward, no-nonsense approach to things was one of the qualities I admired in her, and if keeping her job was the price I had to pay to get her, then so be it. Besides, I planned to use the trick of having kids and turning her into a stay-at-home mom. So far that hasn't happened, but I've tried hard. Ari left on a 4-day trip to San Francisco, and she and Charles flew in at 4 in the afternoon and went straight from the airport to his house. There was going to be a pool party at his house tomorrow, and I planned to meet Ari there and spend the weekend. And on Monday, Ari and I were going to go away for a week and spend some alone time together. Probably the easiest thing to do would have been to walk up to the gate, push the button, and wait for Charlie or someone else to come down to get me. But the gate was still a mile ahead, and I could only see the house on the right. I decided to go cross-country and save half a mile. The ground was a little rougher than I expected, and I had to walk slowly. By the time I reached the side of the house, it was getting dark, and I saw Ari sitting on the terrace reading a magazine. Charles came out of the house in his robe and approached Ari, and I was about to shout and wave when he opened his robe a few centimeters from Ari's face. She put the magazine aside and started caressing his body. Not a word was said. At first, I was stunned at the immobility and just stood there watching. Then the anger began to build, and I moved toward the house, plotting mayhem. But the closer I got, the more I wanted to know what was going on. I slowed my step until I was close enough to hear Charlie say, "No one does it better than you." I stopped and watched in silence as my wife fondled her boss's body. I was wearing dark clothes, it was getting dark outside, and there were trees behind me. I figured if I didn't move, I wouldn't be noticed. I was painfully aware of what those sex sounds were like, and equally painfully aware that I would miss them after this night was over. Charlie was tying his robe, and Ari was reaching for a magazine when he said, "We have time to lie in the hay before Bobby gets here. We'll have plenty of time to warn him because he has to honk at us from the gate." "No, you know the 12 o'clock rule. I don't go from another man to my husband until 12 hours have passed." "That's a stupid rule, baby. You come to me after you've had sex with other guys, sometimes after only a few minutes." "Yeah, but I love my husband. I only like you." "I don't see the logic in that." "You don't have to. That's a wife's business. Bobby deserves more from me than he gets, and I know it. So for my own peace of mind, I have to do some things just for him. I'm not coming to him fresh from another man, and that's why no one will ever get my body." After that, Charlie asked, "Will you come to my room tonight after you make love to your husband?" Ari replied, "Do you want me to?" "Yes. You know I never get enough of you." Well, if I manage to wear Bobby down and he falls asleep early enough, I'll sneak into your room. But if he's really horny and it's too far before dawn, I won't be there. What about the 12 o'clock rule? We never have sex in the morning, so it will be 12 hours before we make love again. Make love? Yes, Charlie. Making love. I'm making love to Bobby, and I'm just having sex with you. Speaking of sex and having other men come to me, Benson has very high praise for your talents. He gave us the biggest booking of his life and wants to see you again. Would you like to fly down to San Fran next week and visit him? Not next week. Bobby and I are going away for a few days. Tell Benson I'll visit him next week. While we're on the subject of Benson, how do you want me to handle your commission? As always, 10% into the company checking account and the rest into company stock. She leaned forward and began caressing his body again. I had seen and heard enough and knew what I was going to do, so I went around to the front of the house and rang the doorbell. I knew Charlie knew who was at the door, since I had a security camera pointed at me, so I wasn't surprised it took him a few minutes to answer it. I'm sure he should have gone and told Ari to hurry to the bathroom and brush her teeth. Wouldn't want hubby to taste something weird while kissing his dear wife, would we? I had to force myself to act normal, be nice, and not hit the asshole when he opened the door. I intended to catch them both in the act later, so I didn't want to arouse suspicion in either of them right now. I was explaining to Charlie that I had a flat tire when Ari hurried down the stairs and rushed into my arms. She kissed me. It tasted like Crest, and told me how much she missed me and how happy she was to be with me. We had a few pre-dinner drinks, had a leisurely dinner, then had a few glasses of brandy and talked for a bit, after which Ari said she was tired from the trip, and the two of us headed upstairs to our room. I tried my best not to give away my anger as I listened to Ari tell me how much she loved me, how much she missed me, and how excited she was while she waited for me to arrive. Ari was the most fantastic woman I had ever had, and I would miss her, but I would enjoy tonight even if I didn't like her. I kissed her, and then we made love all night long. I brutalized the cheating girl while she screamed, "Bobby, you're hurting me." "Yes, I am hurting you, worthless cheater," I thought as I had sex with her. She was crying and begging me to stop, but I wasn't paying attention to her. She tried to pull away, but I held her tight. This was the only way to punish her, and it was my last chance to do it, so I showed no mercy. Her screams gradually subsided. After 2 minutes, I exhaled, yawned, rolled over, and pretended to be asleep. Ari got up and went to the bathroom, then came back and pressed herself against me. 10 minutes later, she poked me lightly in the shoulder, and when I didn't react, she got out of bed and left the room. As soon as I heard the door slam shut, I hastily got out of bed and walked over to her. I quietly opened it with the latch and watched Ari walk down the hall and into the other room. I tiptoed down the hall, and as I put my ear to the door, I heard Ari say, "All done, I see." I went downstairs to Charlie's room, found a couple magazines and books to read, and then went back upstairs and sat down in the hallway right in front of Charlie's door, leaned my back against the wall and settled in to read and wait. Every now and then I heard shouting, a few words that sounded like, "Have sex with me," but eventually it all went quiet. I heard Charlie's door open and the surprised exclamation of Ari seeing me. She closed the door behind her and asked, "How long have you been here?" "Since about 10 seconds after you walked in." "Can we talk about this?" "No, I don't have anything to say. That's why I'm sitting here to eliminate the 'you don't understand,' 'it's not what you think,' and 'I can explain.' When I got here tonight, I didn't go up the road from the gate. I thought I could save time by walking cross-country from the road, and I walked up to the house just in time to see what had happened on the terrace and to hear the conversation that followed. By the way, thanks for brushing your teeth before you kissed me. I guess that explains your violent behavior with me." I just shrugged and then stood up. "I'm sure you can find an excuse for me in the morning." I turned and walked downstairs. I used the phone in Charlie's den to call the 555 and then went to meet them. Ari was waiting for me at the door. "Bobby, please stay with me. Don't go, baby. Please don't go." I pushed her aside and walked out the door, and as I walked down the road, I could hear her telling me behind my back that she loved me and begging me not to leave. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.